Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to the FilmBros podcast. This episode is sponsored by ZippyStream.
If you are wondering how we make money to run our podcast, it's all because of this innovative platform. Here at FilmBros Podcast, we absolutely love using ZippyStream. It's the easiest way to convert listeners into an email list, but best of all, they find us sponsorship so we can keep making money doing what we love.
Suppose you're also a podcaster thinking about starting one. ZippyStream will help you find and manage a relationship with brands that are relevant to your audience. If you want to learn more, contact us as soon as possible. Everyone that signs up this month will get to claim £10 as a joining bonus, which is around $12 or something like that.
Just reach out to us by email or social media DMs, and I'll put you in touch with the guys at ZippyStream right away. Now back to the pod.
What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hey everyone.
And welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros Podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. We got another review, actually a mid-season review. We're going to be doing a mid-season review for you guys for The Last of Us.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. You keep going for family.
I'm not family.
No. You're cargo.
Yeah.
We've been hooked on this show like everybody else in the world as of lately. As people that played the game, it's very interesting to see the different things that come in this show because, they have to tweak it, obviously, right?
Yeah.
They got to tweak
change
it.
Up, keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. Make sure that we don't know what's coming because there was a few times that we just didn't see it coming, and it's just insane. So we wanted to but give our thoughts and kind of see what we saw within each episode, basically. It's going to be a good conversation. I don't think there's going to be a lot of friction. I don't think so. Because I think universally the show is loved. Everybody
for sure.
Like it's been on the top 10 list. I think it only dropped this week only because I think a lot of people didn't know the episode came out on Friday.
Oh yeah. I didn't know it dropped either. It came out. I saw it on Twitter that it was dropping Friday because of the Super Bowl and stuff. So like all that airtime, it was gonna interrupt regardless. But yeah, if you haven't seen the newest episode, you probably should go do that.
Yeah, because just letting you guys know, if you guys haven't seen The Last of Us, this will be a very in-depth and spoilery conversation. So if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it, come back, have the conversation with us, talk to us, and all that great stuff. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it with episode 1, When You're Lost in the Darkness. That's the title of the episode. This one is basically the introduction to the series. We have Joel, we have his daughter. What was his daughter's name again?
Oh. I can't remember.
I got you. He got his daughter Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. They're literally bobbing and weaving the parasite throughout the day. Fast forward, people start getting sick and infected. It gets really bad, and we all get that heartbreaking scene at the very end of the episode.
Oh man,
that just hurts so much to see it happen again. With this one, it was kind of, honestly, I don't think there has been one episode without a little bit of controversy behind it over ridiculous things, obviously. But let's go ahead and dive in, Josh. This episode was the beginning of it all, right?
Yeah.
Like I just said. What was your standout part within this episode?
Oh man. This show, or the first episode, does a lot. It tells you, well, if you haven't played the game, you get the gist of what's going on. I think my favorite part of the first episode is the beginning. I like when they're talking about how fungus works and like how in depth it was, and that the practicality of that is for sure, because that's exactly how real life fungus works. It like they're like, not to scare people, but there's actually fungus that take over ants. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like it was interesting to see that, and the fact that they're leaning heavily and giving you that lore throughout the show is really great. So I'm glad that they set you up with that peace of mind. Like, yep, this is exactly how it works.
Yeah, I like how they explained it, and honestly, I think it was the first 2 episodes where they had those monologues in the beginning. In the first episode, that shit was just intense. Like, you were just sitting there and you were just like, I didn't know I was gonna walk into this immediately. I really loved that part too. That one, and seeing John Hannon playing Dr. Newman. Like, honestly, I haven't seen him in a long time. The last time I seen him was in the Mummy movies. So I was pleasantly surprised to see him, and the fact that he delivers such a chilling, like, opening monologue was crazy for me. Like, that was really good. But we fast forward a little bit more, and they're bobbing and weaving the yeast, right? The yeast, or the bread and all that stuff, because that's where the fungus was coming from.
It was like bread, sugar, something like that.
Yeah. So I was watching the episode and I didn't notice it in the very first episode, because I think that's something that they changed. In the game, I mean, from the game to the TV show, is that they changed the way it was spreading to people. So they were basically bobbing and weaving the bread. I think it was just mostly bread, to be honest. I think anything that had like bread or yeast in it or whatever, I think that's what it basically was.
Well, because they classify it in one of the episodes, like it could have been anything, like with that sort of thing, not just like bread, but like whether it be sugar, something simple that you can make anything out of. So bread can have like sugar in it, and like cookies, pancake mix. You know what I mean? They do try and paint that path, and I think another thing, if you go back and look at the first episode, they are blatantly showing you things baked.
Yeah,
like the neighbors were baking cookies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they ate the bread. They like I was noticing. I had to go do a rewatch because it was pointed out via the internet, and I was like, oh, I got to rewatch this again. And I watched it, and they were literally bobbing and weaving. Yeah. One really good highlight that I liked about this episode is that they included the old lady.
Yeah,
like that shit was scary. I'm like seeing her in the beginning, and like. That's one scene where like it's showing Sarah, and then like she's just back there just like spazzing out or whatever, and then like she turns around and like nothing ever happened. I was like, damn, no, that is so scary. Like that whole little side thing, it was very sad as well to see the old lady go crazy, and hilarious when he hit her with the with that whatever he hit her. What was it? It was a pan or something? No, it was his gun, or he swatted her with something.
Yeah, he smacked the shit out of her.
Yeah, and like just basically curved her. So that was one of the good parts. I honestly, this episode was a great way. I think it established Joel. I think it, even though I want to get to the ending in a little bit right now, but like even though she winds up biting the dust, I kind of feel like they really did a good job making you love her throughout the episode, even though knowing damn well what was gonna happen. Like they made you feel for her, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, they're really doing a lot more with her. I was thinking that they weren't gonna go through with it. I didn't think they were gonna pull the trigger. I was kind of worried about that, because I kind of felt like they were gonna keep her on, because why hire this really good actress just to waste her one episode? And sure enough, they did it, and I was just like, whoa. I think it took me a second. Even though I knew it was coming, it took me a second.
Yeah, and I know, because they did do a good job setting her up. She was a really kind soul, and I really like that they gave her time to shine, to show that she was like caring and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like took the time to show that she got his watch fixed and things like that, you know. So very cool of them to do that, of course, just for it to hurt more when they do kill her off. But yeah, I was expecting it, but I was hoping her fate would be different.
Yeah, and it was very sad. It was very, oh man, it was a great episode. I think it was that episode as well, or no, I think it was that was the second episode. I'm kind of mushing it together, but I don't want to jump the gun if it is the second episode, so I'll bring it up in a little bit. But one thing for this episode at least, and I mean kind of when she was kind of announced, a lot of people had a problem with the whole, you know, mixed race thing when they thought, you know, Sarah was supposed to be you know, a little white girl or whatever from the game. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I honestly don't think it's an issue, but I just wanted to bring it up because honestly, it's weird that this show has been going on and there still was a little bit of controversy in the tail end of it. And I just wanted to talk about a little bit like why people thought or felt the need to like, because I know she was getting bashed for a second, right? When she first got announced and when the episode came out, they were like, oh, you know, that's not the way that she was supposed to be. Why'd they do that or whatever? You know, the YouTube people or whatever, that community or whatever. Honestly, I didn't see an issue with it. I think she played the role really well. I honestly thought she was going to be more of a regular because of how well she was doing. So I honestly didn't see an issue with it. It wasn't a big deal for me. And like I said, I think we talked about this in a different episode, but you know, I think changing race is not a big deal. As long as it works with the story and it's all good, it's good. And they got a really good, talented actress to play the part. So I don't see the issue.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird because you expect it shouldn't be a big issue anymore. Not in this day and age, but you're always gonna get people that are like, oh, woke agenda, blah blah blah. Like those people, you know, all the ones that be like MCU and shit like that. But it's no big deal. She does great in her performance. It's really good. If that were the case, they'd be upset that Pedro Pascal is playing Joel. You know what I mean? Like they don't specify Joel's Mexican, but we know Pedro Pascal's Mexican. So like there's no way that people are bashing this little girl and not bashing Pedro, if that makes sense. Maybe
wait, is he Mexican? I thought it was Colombian or something.
Is he? I don't know. Either way,
I'm kind of curious.
He's still, you know, not what people expect Joel to be like. You know what I mean?
Does that say Chilean?
Oh, is he Chilean?
Chilean? Yeah. Chilean American actor. Oh, see? Interesting.
But, like, they could have went with a traditional white person. You know what I mean? I think I told you that the fan cast of mine would have been Hugh Jackman, but even then he's Australian. So
yeah, that's true, too, yeah.
So, like, they changed it up. And
it would have been pretty cool, too,
it's not
to
like,
be honest.
It's nothing bad. People just, they can't get it through their heads that things are, I guess, evolving is a good way to put it.
Yeah, people just want to get mad just to get mad, to be honest. In my opinion, I think, you know, and, you know, people from that community say that, you know, you can't poke it because, you know, you got people like us who talk about it and, you know, make it a big deal. But I'm like, I feel like y'all were making it a big deal. So I'm just going to just speak on it just so we can be like, you know what? There was nothing bad about this episode. This shit was flawless. Yeah. She did a good job. She killed it. She did what she had to do. Is it too soon to say that she killed it? Or, I mean, no. You know, but yeah, no, she did a phenomenal job. This whole first episode was just a great start to this season, to be honest, because they kept me on my toes. I did not know what was going to happen.
A lot of it was because this is what that show has to juggle. It has to juggle the fact that if you've played the games, you know what's going to happen. So they got to change it up and they got to reel you in, because if they didn't show and they just carbon copied the game, you'd be like, oh, why would I could just play the game, you know?
Exactly.
So they hook you in from start to finish with that dialogue, and then with her death, spoiler, not spoiler, sorry, not sorry, you know, we know she dies. But they just have to reel you in with other ways, and I think not just performance-wise, but story-wise, they're doing a really good job with it. Interesting stuff, though.
Yeah, no, they did phenomenal. Great start to the season. Let's just jump into episode 2.
Yep.
Episode 2 I believe this is the one where they introduce us to the Fedra, right? Fedra, where Joel's living at in the containment. We see the kid come in. They entice him. He's cool. Yeah. They find out he's infected. Then we see Joel and Tess out there throwing the body away, whatever. That shit was sad, actually. That shit was actually really sad. Then we go ahead and we see that Joel's doing underground stuff to get money with the Fedras or whatever, and then didn't hear back from his brother. Been waiting on his brother. Wound up running into Ellie, and this is where they begin their journey out into the open. I believe that is part of the first episode too, but they start their journey out into the open, and I believe this is the one where Tess bites the dust? The second one?
No. I think I want to say that's the third one.
I think Tess. No, the third one is with the what's her name? The prepper. You remember?
Hold on. No, yeah. Oh wait, yeah. So okay, so episode 3 is the one with the prepper, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then episode 2 is where it's where she bites the dust.
Yeah. So they start their journey. They're out there, and then they changed her death because she was supposed to go out like a gangster against the Fedras, but in reality, in the show, they changed it. Like I said, it's gonna be spoiler. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. I'm not gonna say it again because we're gonna keep doing this. She gets killed by one of the infected. It winds up making out with her, and not just her going out by Fedra. She blows herself up and kills them all because she was bit. She was still bit. So regardless of anything, it still hurt, still emotional. We got those little scenes with Ellie and the ending where it's like literally ripped straight out of the video game. That's what I like about this show too. A lot of stuff is ripped right out of the video game, and it's very nice. And it's not so much to the point where you're sick of it. It's just like they do little things here and there that's like a little nod to it, the little good parts. You know what I mean? And they don't feel forced or overdone.
Yeah, because that's just another element of juggling both of them. Because you can change up the story, keep people interested and stuff, but you're still gonna have those fans that are gonna be like, well, why didn't they reference this or that? And I think they do a really good job at doing both, but not forcing it down your throat, like you said. And it's actually really good. There's a lot of I like that they do what they do in episode 4, but we'll talk about that when we get there. I liked Tess's death, if that makes sense. It sucked that she did die. I did like that they changed it, and I really enjoy how they are focusing on the fungus and the infected, because it's really smart that the fungus was alerted by a zombie that wasn't even moving, if you remember that, and then to speed up the process, it knew it was in her, so it had to make that bond faster. She made out with the zombie. So I just really like how the fungus is being emphasized, like it's a hive mind type of thing.
I thought that was a little neat nod too, because like even in the beginning of this episode too, like they had that monologue, like I said, and they spoke more about like how it spread and like how it started and everything, and for it to even dive in even deeper, like how you explained it, that it needed to connect with her and they knew it was sick. I thought it was pretty cool when it did. It was like an antenna thing where it just like basically called it from across the way. It's interesting, the little things that they add and they keep, and they found a really good way to structure these episodes.
It's really well balanced.
Now, that controversial part where people were like, why'd they change her death in this episode? I honestly don't think it was a bad change. I think it was a good change. That was something that a lot of people were saying, that she didn't go out against Fedra like in the game was. And instead it was just the infected. I honestly I can't even say. My thing was that, well, if they took out one of Fedra's guards and they didn't kill him, I was assuming Fedra was going to be on their ass. You know what I mean? And they were going to be there as well. But they never showed up. There was nobody there. So I was kind of like, so they're just fighting the zombie, which in a way it's good that they're not trying to juggle them running away from Fedra and then also running away from the zombies and stuff like that, because I feel like they wouldn't be able to focus on the story more. At least because with a video game, they have more time to tell a bigger, grander story.
Mm-hmm.
With, I mean, shows you got, with this one, at least you have an hour, you know what I mean? And they can't really make you invest in a Fedra agent or something like that who's chasing them, as well as fear for their lives with the clickers, and still have that time to develop Tess in the episode, develop Joel and Ellie. So, though I don't really like it because I do enjoy the whole Fedra chase stuff within the game. I guess it was a necessary change, and I could say that it's all right with me for the sake of the story.
I guess that makes sense. Things are gonna change, and you can either hop on the train or you get left behind, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's gonna happen. They could stick to things, and they can totally erase it just to keep you reeled in, you know. And some people aren't gonna like it, and some people are. I liked her death. I totally forgot she went out against Fedra, but you know, they did a really good job at changing it to where she still goes out like a hero, protecting Joel and Ellie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. The outcome was still the same. She still sacrificed herself, did what she had to do. I thought it was like I said, though I do wish Fedra was kind of in the mix a little bit with everything, because that's just my thing, is that how can they have let him live and then, you know, they're just walking away free. But then again, I guess I can say, why would Fedra even leave if they were like, you know, he's out there in the wild, so who cares? What if he just gets ate? You know what I mean? So I can kind of see it as just, you know, like I said, necessary change that kind of worked, so it's all good, you know? Winning cures everything, so very good. Moving on to episode 3, and we talked about it in all of the episode. We already know what the controversy is, but we will just... Episode 3 is called Long, Long Time. It's about Bill and his...
Frank.
Bill and Frank? I thought it was Tommy.
No, it was Frank.
Oh. Bill and Frank's relationship. People say it doesn't really do much to drive the story forward, but to be honest... I think this episode does really well to drive the story forward. We see that Tess and Joel were in this episode and basically had that relationship with Bill and Frank. We showed that they showed in this episode, like I said, it doesn't really, it moves it forward, but not as much. I think this episode was more dedicated to show you the humanity within this apocalyptic world. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they still found love and grew old together regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, though one was completely uptight and worried about everything, the other one was more loose and fun and just trying to have a good time. And I found like it gave a really good balance for the episode. And them changing the death at the very end was very touching and heartwarming. But I think you told me this in one of the episodes, but I would have liked to see Bill and Ellie's relationship within this episode, and I would have liked to see Joel be in the middle of all that. And I don't know if it would have, I guess in a way it did boost up Frank's death, because in the game you kind of were just like, oh, sucks he lost his, you know, his husband or his partner or whatever, because I think we just walk in and we find him kind of thing. And Joel was like, who the fuck is this guy? And it was kind of like, oh shit, like it was talking about his partner. So this episode, like I said, though it helps put Joel on their path at the very end and Ellie on their path. They did have that growth and showed that, you know, why Joel and Ellie were there in the first place at the very end of the episode. And I honestly liked it. I liked the change. It showed a lot more than what the controversial part is making it out to be, which we'll talk about it right now. But what did you like about this episode? Did it work for you? Because this was one of the most changed, I believe, out of all of them.
It did work for me when I watched it. I I enjoy it. It's a very heartfelt story, and kind of over analyzing it now. We have a whole show dedicated. We're probably gonna have the next 4 episodes focus on Ellie and Joel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's good that they took the time to establish Frank and Bill. Granted, they could have done it, the same way as the game, but we know how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Why not change it to where, you can see the happiness in these two in a world that's crumbling around them. It's a very different way to tell the story. It's very heartfelt. You get the emotion, and it's just, for me, it was a nice twist. I really liked it. It would have been cool to see the chemistry between Ellie and Frank
Bill.
or Bill, and see their little quips and comebacks to each other.
Honestly, because sorry to cut you off, but honestly, because those two actors, I would have loved to see them go at each other. Nick Offerman and the girl that's playing Ellie, I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, no, and I've seen him in other roles. Like, if you've seen him in Parks and Recreation, his quips are funny, and he could deliver lines like that and insults like that really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no doubt their chemistry would have been dope. But sometimes, in the grand scheme of things, you kind of have to sacrifice that for the betterment of the story. Which, for me, it came out really well. We understand where Ellie and Joel are in the beginning. It takes the time to be like, well, nothing's really going on. They're in the middle of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
Let's shine the light on something a bit more human and kind of, in my eyes, important. I liked it. It was a really good twist. I don't understand people's hate for it, but,
Okay. With that being said, I mean, I liked it. You liked it. We talked about it a little bit in one of our older episodes, but let's just run it down real quick for this one, just, so everybody here can have some context. In this episode, this one caused controversy because they said that this gay relationship was forced and that it didn't help with the story whatsoever, didn't move the story forward, that it was about zombies and Joe and Ellie, but yet we had to sit and this is other people's words, this isn't mine, I'm not with it, but that we had to sit for an hour with this gay couple that didn't really improve the story. And to me, that's fucking ridiculous. Now, did it improve the story in Joe and Ellie's story? Yeah, it did, because it put them on the right path or in the right direction at the very end, and it also put us in the know that Joel already knew Bill and Frank from a while ago, so when he gave them the keys, it's not a big deal, and they established that Tess was that bridge between them. So when at the very end of it, he was assuming Tess was going to be with them and they were going to be able to use their truck and be living off happily ever after together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they established that within the episode, but to change what they did and, add a little bit more, in my opinion, more salt to the wound, because though you can feel for Bill in the game just a little bit, at least this one, it hurts more because nobody has anybody, right? They established that in the episode that Bill was alone, Frank was fucking muttering around in the field or whatever, and then they wound up finding each other, and then they showed that though they were alone, they were able to find something in the middle of disaster. You know what I mean? Like I said, maybe it didn't show Joe and Ellie the whole time, and I will say myself, I don't see a lot of stuff like that, with a bunch of, man on man stuff or whatever, because it's not really out there as much, but I liked it. I liked that it worked, and it worked for the story, and, it's not about the guy thing. It's just more like, I guess, love. Yeah. Though it is, like I said, it is a little uncomfy to watch because I'm not used to it. I'm not gonna lie about that. But it's, love's love to me, and I'm just like, that's cool. That they made it work throughout the whole episode. Yeah. But what do you think? About it? Let us know.
I'm not sure because I wasn't getting it was off-putting to me at first because I wasn't getting that vibe. I thought when he was moving around a bit frantically, how he was nervous, I was expecting him to be he just wanted him out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting all that, but looking back at it now, it makes more sense because he was just nervous to have another dude around. You know, like
Yeah.
Maybe because he, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading over into it, but maybe he felt the type of way after meeting him and stuff, and then he was just like, well, what if I advance and then he doesn't return it or whatever, you know? But it is what it is, and I ended up warming up to it. You know, love is love, so they do make that point, and it's really nice that these two found each other in a world, like I said, that is crumbling around them, and they made it work. And then in the end, they went out on their own terms.
Yeah.
They like Frank was pretty much wasting away, and Bill didn't want to die without him. And what does he say? He said he was fulfilled or something like that.
Yeah.
So they go on their own terms. I do like the letter at the end where he's like, we left the window open so it didn't smell. But, you know, if someone were to check up on us, it would be a sight to see, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like his humor that was in there, too. At the end, he was like, ha, 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 ha. Yeah.
So, I mean, a very heartwarming episode. And, again, it just cements the whole, like, there was humanity in the somewhere in the universe after everything. And then, you know, on the opposite side of that coin, we find out that there's not so much humanity in more down the line, you know what I mean? But we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah. It's a good episode. It's a crazy episode. Like I said, no downers in any of these episodes. I don't think that there's any duds within this.
Yeah, there's all bangers. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy how. And you know what? This is HBO, bro. That's why HBO is the GOAT, man. Like when you see something HBO, like you know that there's quality behind that thing. But moving on to episode 4, titled "Please Hold My Hand." This is the one where Joel and Ellie are basically driving to the city to go meet up with his brother. They wound up getting stuck within the city that's controlled by the rebels, I believe they're called, right? What are they called? But yeah, rebel leader.
They're just rebels.
They're just rebels
against Fedra.
Yeah, they just don't want to be under the Fedra's government rule or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they wound up taking the city from Fedra. They show the leader, the rebel leader, which she was added in, right? Because I don't think I remember seeing her in the game.
I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I've played the first one.
Yeah.
But either way, she does phenomenal. Even if she is a stand-in, I think.
To be honest, I didn't think she was. Let me just finish the rundown. So they basically get in there. They're getting shot at. They wind up killing a couple people. I thought it was sad but hilarious with the guy who was begging for his life. Right there, and having like Ellie right there, and she was just like, "All right, I'm gonna go back in the hole," and she's gonna go like hide because he told her to. That was pretty funny. And then, so then they continue after getting out of that hairy situation. They're trying to move through the city to try to get out of there. They wind up finding a place to stay. That's when we see the rebel leader, trying to get answers to find Henry and his brother. I know who they were because of the game. So, apparently they were on the run. They were stealing whatever. Joe and Ellie wind up finding them, or they get found by Henry. And then we also get a little tidbit that the rebels basically pushed Fedra before the rebels took over, pushed all the zombies underground. And we kind of get that little scene where like they're kind of bursting out that the floor. Rebel leader is established to be a badass because she killed somebody point blank. Just fucking insane. Like she was very beat up about it for a second, and then after she heard that what she thought was Henry, but it was actually Joe and Ellie killing her man, wound up popping one in his brain like a fucking menace that she was. So this episode was good. This one, I honestly believe that they added the rebel leader to this episode. I don't think that she's really a big deal in the game. From what I remember, I mean,
she's an original character.
She is?
Yeah.
From HBO?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
See?
looked it up. Melanie Linsky
Uh-huh.
debuts on the show as Kathleen, an original character created specifically for the series adaptation.
Okay, yeah. See? So she's new. But the whole laundromat scene and everything, that's from the game. I remember that. Him well, this is going to jump the gun into the next one, but that whole scene was ripped straight out of the video game. I thought that was pretty cool. Having the rebel leader there, it was very interesting, and I liked her character too. She was cool, but she wasn't, because like I was trying to take her like serious, but like the way she talked was like a house mom, so I don't think I could, like, it was really hard for me to take her seriously because of that.
I guess I could see that.
Yeah, like she was intimidating when she was, because you were like, oh shit, a house mom does not do that. But like when she was talking, I was like, yeah, no, she can't be that intimidating, you know what I mean? But I thought it was cool how she was sweet and kind, but yet she still had people under her, fist kind of thing. Joe and Ellie's relationship blossomed in this one. I really like seeing their interactions together, and even though she gets on his nerves, like, he actually cares. Like I said, when that scene where he was telling her to like go behind the wall, like, you don't need to see this kind of thing.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty sweet of him, and it was cool to see that. And by the end of it, like I said, Henry winds up finding them, and it leads into the next episode, which is really heartbreaking. But what do you think about this episode? It's episode 4.
I liked it. Again, I don't dislike any of these episodes. I think episode 4, I enjoy it for what it is. I like that they bring back the quip book, the joke book.
Oh, yeah.
That they bring that. I like the whole
sticky pages,
the whole callback to with the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice callbacks. They do really good with it. And then, yeah, they go around. They meet the people trying to ambush them, which, yeah, now that I think about it, they get ambushed in the game, and then they're just trying to make their way out the city. They don't really have a whole plot where they show her she's overrun. So Kathleen is an original character.
Yeah, I just remember them meeting up with Henry and them, and moving,
trying to escape. But it works. It works that they gave a name to the group and stuff like that. And I liked her. She was, while I do understand what you mean by she did kind of sound like a soccer mom.
Yeah,
I think she did really well being a menace. Like, not with just this episode, but the next one, without trying to jump the gun. She was merciless regardless. Like, even with the doctor pleading right in front of her, saying that, like, I delivered you, you know what I mean? Like, I was there to hold you when you came out and things like that. So very, very tough moment to see her just pop him in the head for sure. But still really good. She really brings that menacingness, and I think it's the dude, her second in command or whatever, where he's the one that's kind of like, where he wants to have the heart, but it's her orders regardless.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do as told.
Yeah.
So it proves that he was not just trying to protect everyone else, but her as well.
Yeah.
To make sure maybe she didn't push that line, but she always pushed it,
Mm-hmm.
Because even it was his idea to tell them about the ground breaking beneath them with all the zombies in it.
Yep. And she was like, nope.
I did like, I like Joel and Ellie's relationship. This episode was so good in seeing them finally start making that connection, because it took them 3 episodes to get there.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen, you know what I mean? So it takes time. I'm glad it took the time to establish it. And then the part I want to bring up that kind of made me very uneasy and like really makes the show real, the part where she shoots the dude in the spine.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
And he's pleading for his life, and he's just like, get back behind the wall, because you don't want to, you don't have to see this.
Mm-hmm.
He was just pleading, tried to call his mom, like thinking about it and talking about it makes me like, you know what I mean?
Sad.
Yes, and like they pop him anyway.
And we're on two different sides of the spectrum. I thought that shit was funny.
No, man.
That's really
I
bad.
couldn't. That thing made
I
me...
felt bad too, but I was just like, that's what he gets, man. Because he tried to kill him. I was like, I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have even hesitated. I'd have been like, yeah, mom needs you. Like,
it's crazy, dude.
That's crazy. Yeah. Because even like when I was watching it, I was just like, very well deserved. Like, it wasn't like, but I get what you mean. It was kind of like a hard thing because you were just like, damn, if you were in that position. But I was just like, no, but if I was in Joel's position, fuck that guy.
Yeah. And then, no, really good episode all around. Good stuff.
Yeah. And I like how I didn't like it, but I think it was a fine way to kind of end the episode with them,
Meeting them.
Yeah, because they kind of fell asleep happy and everything. Joel was, she kind of figured his ear. No, wait, that was the last episode where she figured out his ear thing. But she kind of was like, she knew what was up. And, after seeing them build that relationship and everything, like, she was just watching his back. And then they wound up sleeping and then waking up to that. It was kind of like, damn. And then it puts them on edge, obviously, in the next episode. But we're going to jump into that right now.
Oh, well, she knew about his ear in the 4th episode.
It was in the beginning, right? When they were sleeping in the woods.
Well, with that, and then when he's putting the glass down, he lays on his left side, he lays on his left side, and then that's when she's like, oh, are you gonna be able to hear? Cause you're right. It looks like you have a hard time hearing. Is it from the shooting? And he's like, it's probably from being shot at and the shooting. So it is what it is. Yeah. And then he turns to his left, so he thinks he can hear it better. But yeah.
Yeah. It's I like that. I like those little build up things that it's like little tidbits, but it goes a long way, honestly. And they know how to really extract and make it work. Yeah. So it's really good. But moving on to the mid-season episode, episode 5, Endure and Survive. So this one just came out on Friday. So last warning, if you haven't seen episode 5, go watch it. Come back. This one was, let me see if I remember it freshly. This is where they pick up from Henry and his brother having them at gunpoint. They basically call the truth. They wind up figuring out a way to get out of there. Wind up going underground, leaving. We got the rebel leader being a menace on her side, going ahead and extracting information from people, calling them rats, saying they're gonna live, and deciding to ruin their lives anyways. Joel and Henry kind of build that relationship, but that rocky relationship. I really like the dynamic between Ellie and the brother. Really sells it for the end of the episode. Oh fuck. Yeah, that shit was sad. We're getting there. We're getting there. Keep it together. So then I'm trying to keep it together. So they wound up making it close to getting out. We get that little scene, like I said, ripped out of the game, where they're sniping from the house. They're pinned down. They wound up escaping. The rebel lead. Oh, it turns out they were working with the rebels in this one, so it wasn't just some random dude shooting. He was actually working with the rebels. Good little change up on their part. Yeah. Wound up, and I thought it was cool how they did this, because as easily as they wrote him in is as easy as they wrote him out, kind of thing, which was pretty cool. Because next thing you know, they wound up crashing the car, making it explode. Joel with his fucking shooting, fucking crazy.
He was doing good shit with that gun.
Yeah, he was. And wound up exploding it into the ground right when their backs were against the wall. Henry was about to give himself up, or he was in the middle of it and about to die. Here come the fucking clickers, bro. Just come out. A big old, what are the big one called? The bloater?
Bloater.
Yeah, that one comes out. We finally see a bloater, which is crazy. They all come from underground. Wound up ruining everybody's day. The second in command getting his head ripped off was fucked.
Oh my god,
that shit was crazy. Wound up escaping. That little girl was insane too. The little clicker girl.
She gave a good performance.
Yeah, the CGI in this show is fucking immaculate. But wound up killing the rebel leader, the little girl that was chasing Ellie throughout the thing, and Joel was basically saving their life. They wound up getting away scot-free. So we thought. It was very heartbreaking towards the end because we wound up finding out that the brother wound up getting bit, the little brother. Ellie tried to save his life by cutting the blood and saying that it helps. He asked to stay awake. She fell asleep, woke up. He was sitting there. He attacks her. The brother has to do what he has to do. Loses his mind and does what he does in the game and, unalives himself. And then it's just so traumatic. It's so sad. Ellie has to see that, they wound up burying the bodies, leaving that heartfelt "I'm sorry" on the grave, and they walk off to the next episode that we have yet to see.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think this one was the hardest one to watch. I think this one was actually, towards the end, was a difficult watch for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything else was great. I think, like I said, the way they wrote in the rebels and stuff, it was a great way to write them out because they showed that she was so focused on one thing that she didn't care what else happened. And sure enough, boom, the worst happens because she decided to just sit on it and not do anything about it. Because she was more worried about avenging her family because they did that little tidbit where she was in the in her house, her old house. All in all, this episode was good. I don't think that there was anything. I think the controversy has been dying out with these last couple episodes. I don't think that there was anything wrong with these episodes. These episodes were fucking great. I like how they connected the rebel leader to like the little elements in the game. Showing Henry's and the brother's point of view was great to see too because it helped out a lot with the cell at the very end. Very good. Paid off. It was really good. Really well done. No complaints about this episode at all. At all. What do you think?
Before I get started, fun fact about the bloater. It was all practical. The suit.
It wasn't CGI?
Nope. Practical.
Really?
Yeah.
They put somebody in a suit. That's cool.
I'll show you a picture afterward. Sorry, you guys won't be able to see it. But
yeah.
I'll show you a picture. It was practical.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's on Google, so go look at that whenever you guys can. But
I really like this episode.
I didn't know that.
I really enjoyed that they did give us the POV in the beginning because they could have totally, this show could totally just pick up from where they last left off. But no, they want to explain to you how they got there really quick. Take a few minutes out of the hour just to be like, this is where they are. This is what happened. We're here now. You know what I mean? And I think they do it pretty quick. I think it happens under 10 minutes where they show you that he's hiding up in the doctor's attic, and then they follow Ellie, and then
I thought it was crazy when they
in the room.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy when they actually showed they were up in the attic and how long they were and everything, up to the point where the old man dies and everything.
Pretty much, yeah. Where he's like, he's not coming back, and then and then he tells him that he's probably dead. But really good episode. This is where I'm talking about Kathleen and the opposite coin of having no humanity or love for nobody, because she executed. She had a whole fire squad execute those people. Granted, they were rats, and maybe in a world with no laws, your word is what keeps you alive. You know what I mean? And the fact that they were kind of selling out their neighbors and stuff, who knows what happened. But yeah, a whole lot of stuff happened. She lit their asses up regardless.
No fucks.
Really good episode. I did enjoy the sniper. I did enjoy a lot that was going on. I really thought they were gonna make it. I thought I was like, they're gonna switch it up. You know what I mean? They're gonna stick them for a bit longer. Nope. They go out how they did, and oh man, the bloater. So dope. So glad we got to see something like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if we'll talk about it, but the costume designs go hard. I don't know if we'll talk about it more down the line, but I just want to give the two pieces.
Yeah, no, the clickers, the way they look, the costume, the set designs, all that shit is nice.
Cause that was my big thing waiting for this show. I was like, they better get the clickers right, bro. And yeah, they look solid. So
yeah, yeah, like I said, the CGI works really well too, so they don't look like fake zombies either.
Yeah.
The bloater being practical is a fucking plus. That's great. Yeah, man. There's I can't even like imagine what else that they have, for us going down the line. What I want to know is when people got the balls to shoot a kid on screen, because
Dude.
like, to be honest, I'm not saying I hate it. I'm not saying like it's too bad. It's just I want to know when that started happening, because I know like they would do it like off screen. You know what I mean? Like they would take the screen away, and then there would be, I know that there was one. Well, I mean, we could use Pet Cemetery as a as kind of like a reference. Like they show you, but they try to show you the least amount as possible. And this one, they kind of showed you, bro. And then I heard too that one of the writers, I think it was Neil the Dirkman or whatever. So he basically said too, and what kind of added another layer of like sadness for me, was that he said that when you're infected, that you do feel like you are just in a passenger seat in the body. That what do you call it?
Sense.
That's why I guess the boy was sitting there, because he was just keeping himself docile. But then when she woke up and said something, at that point, the parasite took over, and that was just, its reaction. But yeah, I guess he said that in one of the interviews, and I was just like, damn, that's even sad, because he even asked her too, like, when, if you turn into a monster, are you still you or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not you, but you're inside, you know?
Yeah. It makes sense, because that's all the fungus is doing. It's looking for hosts just to spread. And, I think that's another element to show, like how the fungus is improving. Because I'm telling you, almost every episode, they touch upon it. I think my favorite part is not only the dialogue in the first episode, but when Ellie is she's cutting into the one that she found on the floor in that one spot, and like you see brain, but it's all covered in like fungus and fur and all that, like to show that he's still like rotting. But so like you'll get the reaction of the human body, but at the same time you can tell that there's something else in it, rotting it away. So it does really well. And oh man, I don't know when they started. I think because TV can't do it, and movies, depending on who you are, you won't want to show that sort of thing. But HBO, they don't care.
I'm telling you, bro.
They'll just do what they gotta do. You know what I mean?
Creative freedom, we know all about that.
Yeah. So like I don't think they shy away from it. It is HBO. You know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So while it is sad, it's expected, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't knock it. It's just...
And to be fair, it was kind of quick. You know what I mean? He shoots him, and then like instantly the camera's on Henry. So.
Oh, really? Because dude, I can tell you right now, I felt like that shit. Like, I felt like I seen him hit the ground. Then they panned it to Henry and him freaking out, like, what did I do? And then they showed it again, like him on the floor bleeding and shit. So I was like, like I said, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just asking the question, like, when did Hollywood get the balls to do this? Because I know, like, back in the day, it was like a sin to do it. Yeah. Now all of a sudden they're just like capping kids, capping kids in front of your screen just like crazy, bro. That's just weird. I think it's crazy. Cause like I get Sarah in the first episode because she was a little bit older, you know what I mean? But Henry's brother was just like a little boy, man. That shit was sad. That was a tough watch. I would tell you that one was a tough watch. I think that one was kind of hard and like, just very, 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 how do you say? Very honest of you guys, HBO.
I think by the end of this episode, you get like Ellie she's not gonna be her cheerful self, but you can tell that seeing that is gonna lead the way into traumatic development for her. If that makes sense.
That's gonna lead into season 2.
She was just like, "Where's West?" And he was like, "It's that way." And then she was just like, "Well, then let's go," because we know it's gonna affect her heavily. But I think a lot of it comes from like that was a friend. You know what I mean?
I think I believe they added that little element to Ellie as time went on, because in the beginning, with the gun and he didn't want to give her a gun. Supposedly in one of the I think in one of the episodes, supposedly she said she killed somebody before, but like I think they're kind of slowly showing, because when they were in the laundromat, her having to hear all the screams and the death, and the guy screaming for his life and stuff, and then moving on to when the clickers were coming out and they were eating everybody else, and she had to watch it, and then seeing that that it did affect her friend that she was having a lot of good relations with throughout the episode, and then sure enough, him attacking her and her having to fight for her life, and then seeing him get shot, and then seeing homeboy shooting himself, that has to be hella traumatic. So I think she's just going through it these past few episodes.
I think it'll lead into, I don't know. I think there is a snow episode, if I remember correctly, where like they're walking through the snow. So I imagine we'll get an episode where Joel is injured and we just get Ellie, and I'm pretty sure this is development for her to just be like, I just gotta survive. So like when she's a menace with that bow and arrow, you know what I mean?
I need to see when she gets that.
She just goes at it. So I mean, development for her, good for her.
Yeah. So with that, like I said, mid-season, I think we have how many more episodes?
4 more episodes.
4 more episodes. A little bit over mid. We know where the game goes. I know you gave a little bit of a prediction where that we're gonna get an episode of Ellie. Is there any other things that you may believe might happen within this series?
I want to know if they're gonna touch up on the prequel story, where it's Ellie and her friend.
Oh, the Left Behind one?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Like, I want to know if they're going to touch up on that at all in the show. It looks like they are.
That'd be cool if they had an episode dedicated to that, to see, like, what happened to her.
Yeah, it looks like they are. I think one of the trailers shows, like, 2 girls on a what is it, merry-go-round?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So that could be them, if I remember, but I'm not too sure. But I want to know if they're going to touch base on that.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that would actually be cool. And I think that was kind of like fairly new, right, when that game came out, or like, well, I know that they added it together with the new PS5 one, but when I played it, I don't think that they had it out.
I think when they remastered it for PS4, that's when they put it out.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, just making sure. Yeah. So, yeah, that actually is going to be interesting. Now, what I want to know is that if they're going to completely just end off basically the whole game in this season. That's kind of like what I want to know. Or is it going to kind of lead into season 2 a little bit? Or, because I was hearing rumors that supposedly this season supposed to lead into The Last of Us Part 2 a little bit, but not completely, just kind of like maybe like the last episode, kind of getting into it and then moving on to season 2 and putting The Last of Us Part 2 there. So that's what I'm kind of waiting to see, whether or not that's true.
I don't know. I think if they were, I hope they're smart enough not to do that, because a rushed ending would kill the show so hard. You know what I mean? We've seen it happen multiple times.
Yeah.
Between shows like Game of Thrones and shit like that. So I think they should. It would be nice for them to just wrap the game up. Change it however they're gonna change it, and then be like, okay, we'll pick up where the game, episode where game 2 starts in the next season.
Yeah.
Like make that time jump or something to where Ellie's a little older, but yeah, I don't think they do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What if it's not a rushed ending, and what if there's just not enough material to like continue with this? I mean, I would think kind of like what you said. If they do put the Left Behind in there, that would be way more than enough material, and maybe give Ellie her own episode in between. Yeah. And I think that they could stretch it out. I honestly think they could probably, if they were to add a couple other, like, I know like side missions aren't really like a good thing to add into games. I mean, into movies, because it doesn't really adapt well. But if you can incorporate some of the side characters and kind of make it into like an episode where they get to know each other a little bit more and like build that development, but kind of do a side quest, would be cool. Just, just don't make it a habit, kind of like the Bad Batch, like going to mission. Just, once in a while, that would be cool to kind of help develop the story and maybe expand on it, stretch it out a little bit more so they don't have to run out of material.
You know what they could do? Now that we're talking about it, say we're on like the last 2 episodes or whatever, and they get to where they gotta be, and then he's like, you know what? Okay, well let's get this cure. He finds. If you haven't played the game, I'm sorry, but what do you call it? He's like, they're like, oh, we gotta kill her to make the cure. What if throughout that whole transition period, the episode is just Ellie's mind playing through like the prologue, pretty much, of her and her friend or whatever.
Yeah.
So they combine that into one episode, and then by the end, he saves her, and then it can lead into season 2 with like the last however minutes left. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want them to set up season 2 with a full episode. Like, do what every other show does and just make the line at the last like 20 minutes and then let us lead into the season 2.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but I guess we gotta wait to see, because supposedly there's a rumor out there saying that they don't have enough material for the whole season. So I'm hoping that they do, because to be honest, it'd be ashamed if they fumble the bag at the towards the end, because
Honestly.
having a strong opening but then finishing weak, it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having high hopes for this, because honestly, 5 out of 5 is fucking great.
For sure.
That 5 out of 5 is great. You can't even argue with that. They can royally fuck up. They can. We've seen it happen, but 5 out of 5 so far.
They just missed the dunk.
Yeah, it's been very well. But that's our thoughts as a collective for our mid-season review. We will be coming out with a final ending season. A
full review and ranking of the episodes.
Yeah,
in like a month, because we still got 4 Sundays left.
Yeah, we got a lot more to go. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. But with that being said, Josh, go ahead and let them know where they can find us, talk to us, and if they want to support us in a big way, yeah.
If you want to hit us up anytime, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, we post when new episodes are up, and you can hit us up to review any movies, games, shows, music even. We listen to a lot of music. If you want to listen to our other episodes while you're out and about doing whatever, Apple Podcast and Spotify at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to support us in a big way, Zippy Stream at FilmBros Podcast. All it takes is your name and email. You get our full catalog. You can hit us up privately at any time, because social media gets jumbled up sometimes. So take advantage of that. If you want to watch us on YouTube, I know we haven't been posting there for a cool minute, but we are starting up soon. I promise. At FilmBros Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, because when we start posting YouTube videos, you guys do not want to miss them, in case you guys want to check us out. And yes, comments and all that. We want to know if there's anything you guys want us to talk about, review, let us know down in the comments. With that being said, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.